The Daily Ramble on Claret and Booze. Welcome to the Daily Ramble here on Claret and Booze. My name's Gary and this is my Daily Ramble where I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to talk about the England game the other night, which is still irritating me, bloody irritating me, and what we're going to do next. And then I'm going to wrap up the transfer news later on. Nick actually put me in a really bad mood by ranting about the England game. So he was right. He was right about a lot of it. Now let's just dig into that from my point of view. So look, he was outthought. Southgate was outthought and outthought by the Danish coach. He was totally outclassed, out of his depth. Didn't have a clue what to do, and neither did the players. I mean, that second half was borderline incompetent. Did you see what some of those players were doing? Even Declan Rice completely lost his head. I mean, I don't know what's happened to him. But there is no leadership vibes coming from Declan Rice, is there? You know, I mean, the whole team lacked leadership. It doesn't help that the manager continues to play players out of position. It's like we've fucking watched the season demanding that Moyes goes, and now fucking David Moyes is managing our country. Instead, we've got to watch this crap. Trent out of position, out of his depth. He cannot play there. Don't play him there again, Southgate. Bellingham, well, that ain't his position, is it? That ain't his position. He's not a number 10. Yeah, he's played there a few times, but that's not his natural number 10. He should be playing, probably alongside Declan Rice. That has been done many times before, successfully, so why the fucking hell ain't it done now? And there are other things, you had Southgate moaning about, we lost Calvin Phillips. Like, Calvin Phillips ain't been a thing for ages, right? So why the fuck he's moaning about that, I don't know. And why he's moaning about that when we've got Walton and Kobe Mainu in the side, two very, very classy players who could both do the job alongside Declan Rice. They're not given a chance. They're not given a look in. So, I don't know, unfashionable, not in the right clique, one of his favourite little players' clubs or whatever else. Meanwhile, fucking Trippier the right back gets to play left back. There's a reason for that. He's only selected one left-footed defender in the entire fucking squad. So he's got no choice but to play a right back as a left back, right? But there are other players who have played that position before, and including Gomez, including Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's played there before. He'd be more suited there than he would be in the centre of fucking midfield trying to be a partner for Declan Rice, which he cannot be, right? Foden, you're wasting him out on the left. This is like what David Moyes was doing with Paqueta. He was saving him until 20 minutes before the end, then let him have a run in the middle. Confined to the left-hand side, he's predominantly left-footed, and so he's got nowhere to go. He can't come inside. He's just not... I know you could say he's a two-footed player, very talented player, but predominantly he's left-footed. And you're just keeping him. You're keeping him in stock over on the left-hand side. I don't get it. He's been playing number 10. He was the players' player of the year in the Premier League this year, wasn't he? Playing as a number 10 for Man City. But no, Southgate knows best. Put him on the fucking left wing. Idiot, right? Harry Kane without legs around him, you might as well not have Harry Kane on the pitch. And how the fuck that bloke's a captain, I'll never know. He hasn't got a leadership bone in his body. Let's face it. Rice was abhorrent yesterday. Terrible. Fucking terrible. I've never seen a player look so... He looked so nervous and out of his depth. He kept giving the bloody ball away. Now, that ain't Declan Rice, is it? It ain't Declan Rice. There's stuff that's happened around him. He found himself being a ball and nerves, I think, because Denmark did a job on them. They did a proper job on them. And we were lucky to get away without losing that game. Very lucky. I don't care what Carl Walker said afterwards about, we did lose, we're still top of the group. Fuck off. It was rubbish. We could all see it was rubbish. Fucking gaslighting us, right? 1-0 up. We went 1-0 up and we could not retreat fast enough in that game. It was pathetic. Fucking pathetic. The subs, Gallagher, the first sub on the pitch again. Why always Gallagher? He's fucking average at best. What's he even doing in the England side? You've got Mainu and you've got Walton there. Why is he the first man on the pitch? Then you put a fucking bunch of subs on, right? Ollie Watkins gets to run around up front. Did alright, but no service. Bowen and Eze get to run around a bit. Again, they're not getting the ball. They're not receiving the ball the way they want to receive the ball. And what the fuck is wrong with Declan Rice? He will not pass to Bowen. I don't know if you picked that up. in the last couple of games, right? But he will not fucking lay the ball off to Bowen. What does he think he's above that now? Fucking prick. Right. As Nick said, our two centre-halves, Gay and Stones, solid as you like. Carl Walker did brilliantly to catch that defender sleeping yesterday. Really, really good. But we need a team of committed players who don't think they're too big for this or too important, or, you know, maybe their mate ain't playing who's in the right clique, or they don't agree with what the manager's got to say. And this is where I do have a little bit of sympathy for Southgate, because frankly, the international manager does not teach these players how to play. He sets up in a certain way. You know, it's up to them to a certain degree to make stuff happen rather than sulking because it's not their own way. And that's what I took out of that game yesterday, especially the likes of Rice. He had a fucking face. Why the long face? Yeah. He looked miserable. They all looked miserable. Kane looked miserable. Fucking hell, puff your chest out. You're playing for England. How many tournaments do you get in your career? International tournaments, if you're an international player. If you're lucky, 4 or 5. What, you're going to waste this one then? You're going to waste this one? You're going to let it go, get away from you? Or are you going to have a little bit of pride and fucking take matters into your own hands? Irrespective of what that fucker says, he ain't going to drop you, right? Southgate ain't going to drop any of them players, right? He probably play Trent again. Although I doubt that somehow, right? As for Bowen, he nearly got himself injured there, didn't he? Nearly got himself injured, and you know, Eze just wasn't receiving the ball the way he needs to receive the ball. You've got to give the ball to feet to Eze so that he can turn and run at the defenders. Fuck off, fly, right? And he wasn't given that opportunity. I mean, he was just trying to catch on to lofted balls. When he, Ollie Watkins, again, he's a good player, but he's no Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, I'd say, is a better player, more suited to the system. That is what I think. I could be wrong. Hopefully, Ollie Watkins will come good and score hatfuls, right? But for me, Ivan Toney is the player who's going to get in there, batter defenders. He would have given that defence a real hard time yesterday, right? Because he don't care for anyone. The guy is, you know, he shows no respect when he plays for defenders, right? He takes the piss. And that's what I want to see, a bit of piss taking. Not a captain meekly with his head down, staring at the ground. You know, Harry Kane, who can't even run anyway, coming 50 yards to collect the ball. What the fuck are you doing that for? And I don't even blame Harry Kane. Fuck off, fly. Right. Now, Nick mentioned player ratings. So here are my player ratings. Sacco, shit. Foden, rubbish. Trippier, average. Trent, out of his depth. Bellingham, one good game, one bad game. Kane, garbage, no leadership. Gallagher, why? Bowen and Eze, at least ran about a bit. Rice, shit. And that's not me even being a bitter West Ham fan. He was shit yesterday. So, after the game, Southgate gave his little interview and said, oh, if only we had Calvin Phillips, it would have been so much better if we had Calvin Phillips. And Ian Wright absolutely tore into him, just justified in doing so as well. So, as I've said twice on this show already, you got Mainu, you got Walton. They can both play the Phillips role. Fucking pick one of them, you idiot. Rather than pissing around. He doesn't know what's going on, right? He really doesn't know what's going on. But for me, like I said earlier, these players, they've got to have some fucking pride, right? This has got to be, you know, fuck the manager. Let's make it happen for us. Let's make it happen for the country. Let's make people proud. Do something, right? Talking of outrage, and I'm quite outraged, the thing that's outraged me the most has been the outrage of the pundits. Jim White, Simon Jordan, Lineker, Rio. Remember Rio, who shouted down the camera, West Ham fans, what more do you want? About David Moyes. Jamie O'Hara, Shearer, who gushed like a little fucking pussy when Kane scored a tap-in from 2 yards. About what a brilliant finish. Fuck off, brilliant finish. I don't know. I didn't realise I cared so much about England. Turns out I do. Ashley Williams, I can tolerate because he's not one of them. He's not one of them. One of that other mob who fucking told us to be careful what we wish for, and the fact that we had to put up with a whole season of shit, season and a half, 2 seasons of shit from David Moyes to be told careful what you wish for, and yet they can't take 2 England games without losing their shit about how negative Southgate is. What the fuck are they on? Anyway, hypocrites. Hypocrites at dawn, a lot of them. They are collectively this week's pricks of the week. Right. As I said the other day, my second favourite thing in this tournament is David Moyes. He's disgraced himself, on show after show, which is comical. The guy has got such a fucking ego. It's unbelievable. What Nick said yesterday, fucking great comments. He read that. I'm not going to go through it again, but he also he added a little bit of commentary to the Scotland game after they got the equaliser at half time in the punditry. They said, David, what do you think Scotland should do coming out for the second half? Oh, I think they should respect the point. Fucking shit, rubbish Scottish accent, but you get the point. Respect the point. This fucker has been hired by TalkSport, BBC, to give an insight, a professional insight and an opinion on football. Yet all he does is stick up for the managers and say what decisions they make, and if anyone dares challenge them, well, you can't challenge the manager. Do your badges, then challenge the manager. He's an arsehole. Always was, always will be. Right? Meanwhile, one of those who was blowing smoke up Moyes' arse last season and he's now angry about Southgate, like seething angry, Gary Lineker, has been taking time out to do a little one-to-one interview with David Moyes so he can talk about the good times. And where David Moyes admitted that he let Declan Rice set the agenda for the second season in where he wanted to get forward a bit more. I mean, a strong manager would have said, no, fuck off, you stay there. You can say, oh yeah, it turned out well and we won a cup and all that sort of stuff. We would have won that cup with Declan Rice staying in that position, and Thomas Souček would have probably had a much better time as well, right? As we always said, he was a weak manager. I don't want to see the likes of him ever again. Now, talking of Thomas Souček, who's had a good Euro so far, let's be honest, great against Portugal, dominant. He has twisted his knee a little bit, and they're close. Apparently, he's been carrying a knee injury. I didn't know this. I definitely didn't know this. I mean, he was playing every minute of every game for West Ham last season, and he was carrying a knee injury. Really, was he? Anyway, on to the other West Ham news, the more positive stuff. But let's start with a bit of negative. West Ham transfer news. So West Ham have no money to spend, apparently. That's bullshit. We did the calculations a little while ago. Me and someone else, independently, we went through all the different numbers, all different figures, all of the, the outstanding payments for players and all that sort of stuff. And we came up with very similar results. That I came to the conclusion we had 150 million without Paqueta money. This other guy came up with, Marty actually came up with 160 million. Right? We're very, very close, right? So we're there or thereabouts. So we have got money. I think we're just telling people we haven't to keep the prices down, because as you know, football is unique in that if you happen to have a little bit of money in your pocket and people know about it, they demand double. It's the only industry where a product can double in price depending on how much you've actually got to spend. Probably not the only industry, but one of them. But if we use this excuse and we don't actually spend as we should now, it's a bit of a problem, because we do have the money, we do have the capability to spend. If we don't spend, next summer, when you know the way this FFP thing works, it rolls forward and it's an average of your income is versus your outcomes, your football income and everything else, right? Well, in summary, we can spend quite a lot this year because of what we did last year. Next year, we won't be able to spend very much because of the limited revenue that we've earned this year, right? So we've got to do it this summer. Now, if little Monster Munch Hands is thinking with on one side of his brain, oh, maybe it'll all go wrong, I'll have to get Moisey back in January and give him a few quid to spend, or we make a few quid out of that, I imagine. Maybe he's holding some money back for January, or maybe he's going to go balls out and all in on Lopetegui. I was going to say Lopetegui. So I just hope he's not going to piss around Sullivan. I mean, he seems to be bombing quite a few deals out of the water at the moment, one in particular, which is a player we wanted, Matthias Soulé, is now being lined up by Aston Villa, right? A proper creative midfielder being lined up by Aston Villa because we wanted to cut people out of the deal. There you go, whatever. Anyway, the outbounds, we've got money to come in as well. On top of that, we've got Zuma will fetch a fee. I think maybe you get a couple of million for him. Agüed will fetch a decent fee. Ings 6 million, as we found out. Wage bill will be cutting off because we let a few people go as well, like O'Connor, who's earning big wages. Kerr has already left. Benny will be joining him soon. There is an interesting deal around Jake O'Brien. I mentioned this weeks ago, so I always call things first, as you know, right? And Jake O'Brien, I literally, my logic was he plays for Lyon. Benny wants to go to Lyon. There could be a deal there because Lyon can't spend money. Well, they still can't spend money. There's a transfer embargo. He's worth about 12 million. I'm not sure how much we're supposed to be selling Benny for. I think it's about 13. So there's there or thereabouts, right? It could be a straight swap. 6'6" very, very tall Irish centre half. Looks like a tough lad, right? He played ever present for Lyon last year. 27 appearances, 4 goals and 2 assists. Where'd the assists come from? He's surely not taking corners or anything. It must be because he's so bloody big. He's getting his head and heading to other people who are heading it in. Yeah, maybe. So with Guilherme and Wes Foderingham is almost signed up. So this would be, we're talking about who's going to be our third signing. And the third signing, I think, will be En-Nesyri. Looking really, really positive around En-Nesyri at the moment. Obviously, there are a number of rumours for our players to be leaving. I don't really buy any of them unless we do get a stunning offer from Man U for Alvarez, because we'll take it, right? And that'd be the right thing to do, in my opinion, because the player would want the move, right? And that goes for Liverpool and Kudus as well. You don't want to keep a player against their will. You want to get the money in as early in the window as possible and reinvest it. I do agree with what Nick was saying about you shouldn't sell all of your best assets, but fact is, if we're going to reinvest the money in the squad, then I don't mind, and we're going to, spend proper money. However, I'd be absolutely fucking gutted if I saw Alvarez or Kudus or Bowen go this year, because I don't believe Kudus and Alvarez have had a fair crack so far, and I want to see them have an entire season with West Ham, at least, right? At least. This is too early. It's one season too early. Let's let ourselves get back into Europe first, right? Jaden Osterveld, apparently we've got he's the lightning left back, 23-year-old from Fenerbahce. Interest from Everton and Napoli, so that shouldn't be too difficult to fend off. Apparently we're very interested in him. We definitely need, with the rumours about what's his name, Emerson. And in addition to that, I think getting a lightning left back or wing back is not a bad thing at all. I mean, there I think the creditable rumours, apart from the Alvarez, Bowen and Kudus ones. I think we have been linked with 150 players. There are a number who I just think are just nonsense, and one of those I'd say is 25 to 30 million for Reece Nelson of Arsenal. Why? Why would we do that? What has Reece Nelson done that makes him worth 25 to 30 million other than be English and young and plays for Arsenal occasionally? Why the fuck would we turn him, a bit part player at Arsenal, into a first team regular, which is what 25 to 30 million is to us, at West Ham? No way. He don't get a first team place, does he? He'd be a squad player at best, a bench player. So if that's the case, the price for him would be surely 15, maybe, something like that. I don't know. Talking of youngsters, Lewis Alford, England under-18 captain, who's not been given a new deal by West Ham, is being chased by Villa. We've said no, pushed them away. It's now up to us to put a deal on the table that he wants to sign, not a derisory one that he doesn't want to sign, therefore pushing him into the hands of Aston Villa and such like, right? This is a good player, a strong player. And I don't know why they can't take a little gamble with some of these real genuinely top talents and give them a decent deal, because look, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. They move on, right? They move on. But you don't have to sign them up for 5 years. You can sign them up for 3 years, right? You just do it and give them and pay them the going rate, because they're clearly not getting the going rate at the moment for their talents and their profile, are they? Anyway, this has been a bit of a ranty one, so sorry about that. But like I said earlier, I didn't realise England could make me as passionate as it did. anymore. I'd kind of given up on it and gone little bit passive. But I found myself getting really irritated, and I think the reason for that irritation yesterday was the spirit of David Moyes came back to haunt me. Right, those feelings, those old feelings of fucking negativity and frustration from last season, came back while I was watching England, and I think that's what happened to Nick as well, and probably you lot. Right. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Can I be the first to say Southgate out as soon as we get knocked out of this tournament, because it ain't coming soon. But in the meantime, we're going to hope for the best, going to hope for a miracle. We're playing, who are we playing next? Slovenia, isn't it? Next Tuesday. I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff next Tuesday. Playing them at the same time as Denmark play the other mob. So I think that's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be an interesting one. He's now got to play the full team, a first choice team again. If he's going to play a left back, as in Luke Shaw, the only left-footed player in defence and injured, if he's going to play him and give him game time, surely it's got to start with Slovenia, because after that it all gets a whole lot more interesting and a whole lot more difficult. So chuck him in, get his fitness up, or alternatively, if he doesn't play in this game, Luke Shaw, he's cropped and he's useless to, why did he get picked in the first place? Oh, I don't know. I can't second guess Gareth Southgate, but I will agree with Nick one thing. He has got the same football philosophy as David Moyes, but he doesn't have the arrogance. So I don't hate the bloke. I wish him well. I hope he wins the tournament. I hope we win the tournament. So look, until next time, enjoy your weekend. Looks like it's going to be a sunny one. So come on, you irons, and come on, England. See you soon. I can't find my bloody outro. Here it is.